Today, we will talk about our potential solution to one of the many issues regarding homelessness in the United States. Our solution will be able to address the immediate needs of adolescents and teenagers who are homeless, as well as their long-term needs. My name is Shane Nelson.
I'm Giselle Telez.
I'm Molly Wagner.
I'm Mario Chandler.
I'm Juan Carlos Razo.
And before we get started, I'm going to give a brief overview of the presentation we'll be giving. So first off, I'll talk about the problem, significance, and harm, why homelessness is an important issue that needs to be addressed. Then we'll go into the previous solutions that have been implemented to try and help solve the problem of homelessness. Our applied innovation we are proposing to help with the issue of homelessness. Obstacles we will need to face to ultimately be successful. Why we believe our applied innovation will be successful. So homelessness in the United States is gradually increasing. And in the United States, from 2016 to 2017, the total population of people that are homeless increased by 1%. However, unaccompanied children and adolescents had an increase of 6.8%. And according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, 2 out of every 5 people that are homeless are youth. To put that into perspective, 500,000 people that are homeless on any given night, and 200,000 of them are youth. 4.2 million adolescents with or without guardians experience homelessness each year in the United States. And along with that, 1.4 million adolescents will experience unaccompanied homelessness at some point each year. Teenagers who experience homelessness do not often receive the proper care that they need, such as getting enough food or sleep. And according to the Covenant House, 57% of homeless teenagers go without food one night each month. This stress can cause teenagers to make choices they otherwise would not need to make due to their circumstances, such as sell drugs, commit petty thefts, and possibly resort to prostitution. According to a study done by Cromley et al., 2015, an individual who has experienced homelessness before the age of 26 is 1.6 times more likely to commit a violent crime than an individual who is not homeless. One of the biggest factors for continued homelessness after the age of 18 is not receiving the proper education. According to the Voices of Youth count, teenagers who do not receive a high school diploma or GED have a 346% higher risk of being homeless compared to those who do get a diploma or GED equivalent. Being uneducated after the age of 18 makes it very difficult to find jobs and also causes these individuals to seek other methods to support themselves. Homelessness can be a vicious cycle that is very difficult to come out of, and addressing the issue of teenage homelessness is just a small step in the right direction, but is a problem that needs to be addressed. Addressing this issue hopefully can provide a higher quality of life for these individuals long term.
Now, previous solutions have been created in order to tackle the homelessness issue in the United States, one of them being the Temporary Assistance to Needy Families. This was an act created to replace the Aid to Families with Dependent Children in 1996. It was available nationwide, and what it did is it gave financial assistance and healthcare benefits to families in need by helping them pay for food, shelter utilities, and expenses other than medical. But there were many qualifications needed in order to actually get the benefits. In Illinois specifically, you needed to be a US citizen, a resident of Illinois, you needed to be responsible for a child under the age of 19 years, or you had to be pregnant, and all the children in your household had to be 18, that were under 18 had to be full-time students, or they had to be in some sort of schooling, but the program itself didn't actually help the students stay in school or get into school. It was just a requirement to already be in there. And there was also many requirements about the income that the family made, that it goes more into specifics, but this program is still ongoing, though few families have been able to receive the benefits because it's not an entitlement program, which essentially means that not everyone that is actually eligible gets the help. And you can see in the next graph that from a report on the program made by Congress, when it was first created in 1996, a lot more people received the benefits, and as time has gone on, few people have been helped. But as Shane mentioned, the homeless population has actually increased since then. So that just means that there are many more people that are homeless and aren't receiving any help. There was also the Homelessness Prevention and Rehousing Program that was created in 2009 under the presidency of Barack Obama with a timeline of 3 years. And what the act did is it gave $1.5 billion to the US Department of Housing and Urban Development to give to 535 organizations nationwide to fund a bunch of financial assistance for homeless people or people that were at risk of being homeless. They gave them hotel vouchers, credit repair, utility payments, and much more in order to help speed up the rehousing process for them or just to reduce homelessness overall. Again, for this one, there were many eligibility requirements. Briefly, what they had to do is they had to have an initial consultation that kind of laid down the base of the requirements that they needed and the situation that they were in, as well as they needed to have a total income below the 50% area median income. And to receive rapid rehousing, they had to already be homeless, or to receive homelessness prevention assistance, they had to be at risk of being homeless. And according to the program summary published by the US Department of Housing, this program helped 1.3 million people, which included 537,000 families and 3,359 unaccompanied youth. However, it did end up ending because of insufficient funds, and also the short timeline of 3 years prevented the program from building a strong foundation that could help it be sustained. And overall, these both acts were immediate solutions that changed the present situation of the recipients, but they didn't really look into the long term. And they indirectly targeted the children because the help was actually given to the parents and it kind of trickled down to the children. But what we want to do is we want to give our help directly to them in a sustainable way by using education as our tool to give them a chance at long-term success, which Molly will dive into.
So after analyzing the underlying issues of other attempted solutions and what led to their failure, we were able to learn and build upon them to design our plan of action. The innovative solution that we are proposing is building a grades 6 through 12 school that will allow homeless adolescents and teenagers ages 11 to 18 to receive an education. The school will be called Finding a Way School of Hope. To start off, we are planning to have the school have around 500 different students. We are planning on starting the school off in the Midwest region of the United States, and the school will be in the Chicago area. The Chicago Coalition for the Homeless believes there to be 86,324 homeless people, and 20,799 of them are kids. That is why we believe it is important to start off in the Chicago area so we can try to help those 20,000 individuals. If this school is successful, we plan to expand to different regions to build more schools as long as we are able to collect more funds. The McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act defines homeless as individuals who lacked fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. The McKinney-Vento Act is a law that ensures the right of students to go to school even if they are homeless. Under determining eligibility for rights and services under the McKinney-Vento Act, it states, however, because the circumstances of homelessness vary with each family's or unaccompanied youth's situation, determining the extent to which the family or youth fits the definition must occur on a case-by-case basis. Each individual or families that are homeless will let us know that they are having trouble by either letting us know that they're living with others or living at a shelter, and we will be there to help them. The school that we are planning to build will be very much like a college due to the fact that we are providing an education and housing for each student. The adolescents and teenagers who attend this school will have extracurricular activities that they can get involved in. For example, we will have sports teams that they can get involved in, and then also different volunteering opportunities. There will also be services provided for the students, which will include counseling services, health services, and support services. Because these individuals who are coming to the school are homeless, we will be having to provide a lot of different things for each student. We will be providing housing needs, so like toothbrushes, toothpaste, bedding, pillows, showering essentials, and a lot more. And then we're also going to have to provide academic needs, which include notebooks, books, folders, pens, pencils, and so much more. For this school, we will need many different staff and faculty. This would include teachers, nurses, counselors, therapists, coaches for different sports teams that there'll be, security, maintenance crew, and a lot more. The school that we will have campus security because we want to prioritize the student safety. Each floor of the building that the students will be living in will have something like an RA. This will be a qualified individual to make sure that students are being safe and not getting into any trouble. One great thing that we would like to do for this school is have parents of the students working here. So if there are families who are homeless, we would like to offer the parents different jobs throughout the school. Some of these jobs may include being on the maintenance crew, the cleaning crew, or even coaches for different sports teams that we have. For the parents who are working here, we will be offering them housing as well. Each family would get something like an apartment so that there's enough room for the amount of people in each family. The students who will be going to the school will also have a choice if they would like to live with their family or if they want to live with a different student who would then be their roommate. We think this would give an opportunity for families to get their life turned around as well. The last semester of school for these students, so the second semester senior year, will be doing something a little bit different. What we are planning on doing is having these students out working and having their own job that they're responsible for going to. This will allow students to get a head start into working and will most likely allow them to have a stable job once they graduate the high school. The students will be working 30 to 40 hours a week and will be able to live at the school during this time as well. We will be giving students 6 months after they graduate to move out and get their own place, which will allow them to save even more money to get their own place. Another great thing we will be offering for these students is a class this second semester that's all about college. We would call it a college prep course, and this course will be all about helping the students find a way or find a college that they'll be interested in going to. We would take these students to tour different colleges, and we will be there to help them make the best decision for them. Another aspect of this course would be helping them save money that they'll be getting from their jobs that they'll be working for, and will help them with school and a place to live after they're done after they graduate. We'll have different options for the students on how they want to save their money. For example, we allow students to put half of each of their paychecks into savings accounts and then keep the other half, and then there's a lot of other different ones that they can do as well. The students will get to choose on how they want to save their money. Students will have the decision on if they do want to go into higher education or if they want to continue working at the job that they have, or if they want to find a new job once they graduate. Overall, we believe that our school will be a great thing to help individuals who are homeless get on the right track. Now Mario will go over the money aspect of the school.
So a large barrier to implementing this innovative solution will be money. As you can see on this chart, these numbers were taken from a chart made by governing.org that shows the education spending per student by state in 2016. We chose to show the national average, Illinois' average, California's average, and New York's because these are prospective areas that we will branch out to if we have success in the Chicago region, and also because they're very different from each other regionally, and the cost for each state is different as well. California would be a target location to plan another school if we have success of a lot in Chicago, because the California Coalition for the Youth stated it is estimated there are between 1.3 to 1.7 million youth who experience one night of homeless a year, with 550,000 of the youth being homeless for a week or longer. And of that number, a staggering 300,000 minimum are living in California. New York is considered another potential place for a school to be built. And the Coalition for Homelessness states that in January 2020, there were 62,679 homeless people, including 14,682 families, with over 22,000 homeless children sleeping each night in the New York shelter system. Families make up more than 2/3 of the homeless shelter population, end quote. We believe that our applied innovation will be successful since it provides assistance for many adolescents and teenagers who are homeless, and this innovation focuses on providing education and providing tools for the youth. In 2016, the education spending per student by state listed nationally, the most recent data indicated that $11,762 were being spent on public education per student. Even though that is the national average, the money being spent per student is even more in Illinois, where it sits closer to $14,180 per pupil in 2016. So say that the average we spent per student was $14,000 and we had 500 students plan to attend the school initially, then that would need at bare minimum $7 million to fund the housing for the adolescents that would attend our school. Some ways we plan to alleviate the strain of the heavy funding would be grants from the government, educational grants, fundraisers, and receiving money from different businesses and organizations. As an incentive, we can offer naming the school or areas of the school after the highest donor/donors. And other ways to lessen the weight of funding would be partnering with local businesses and companies like a dentist's office, for example, to donate toothbrushes and toothpaste. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the success factors that circle around our project, along with some of the obstacles that we will have to face. So one key thing is our innovative solution is a long-term structural change attempt to approach homelessness and focus entirely on adolescents. This will be the first attempt to provide a semi-permanent residence for homeless youth while also aiming to assist with their education. Having the school location in Chicago will also allow for students to have wider access to opportunities, and it will allow us to have a wider student pool. Also, if you bring your attention to the graph on the screen, the National Center for Homeless Education lists 1.5 homeless youth, while the Department for Housing and Urban Development lists a total of 35,783 homeless youth and families. And this massive discrepancy in numbers is going to be one of the biggest obstacles we face, because the numbers for the Department of Housing and Urban Development are primarily used by states when they make their choices in facing homelessness, while the National Center for Homeless Education, they keep very close track of homeless youth throughout the school year, which provides a much better view and perspective on what is really going on. Also, another obstacle that we are going to have to face and maneuver around is that due to the size of the innovation, it's going to require a large amount of support from the start in order to provide these students with the diverse opportunities that they deserve. And even though we will be facing these variety of obstacles, I'm going to pass it on to Juan to explain a little bit more why our innovation specifically will be a success.
So why do we believe that our applied innovation will be a success? We believe our applied innovation will be successful because we are setting up our students for success. Our main goal is to provide homeless adolescents with housing and an education. We want these teenagers to live comfortable and stable lives, and offering these students housing will take away the stress of looking for a place to sleep every night. Our housing program also helps the student's family if they are in need of housing. For example, if a student's whole family is homeless, we will provide them with housing and provide the parents with different support groups that will help them get back on their feet while also working jobs throughout campus. While attending this school, students will have access to an education, and our end goal is to get these students a diploma, but at this time, we don't know if it will be a GED or a diploma from another school that we may team up with. The school also offers counseling, health, and support services. With these services, students will be able to be successful because they provide these students with different opportunities to better their lives both physically and mentally. With our innovation, we are trying to cater to long-term success, not short-term. We will keep track of how students are doing in order to keep them on a successful path. Providing these students with all these benefits while having a roof over their head says nothing else other than a better life. Our innovation is basically imitating colleges and boarding schools. The only difference is that we are catering to a different population. And if it works for them, why wouldn't it work for us? All in all, we believe that our applied innovation will be a success, but we won't actually know till we get the first group of students through our program. Our solution will hopefully be able to address immediate needs of the adolescents and teenagers who are homeless, as well as long-term success. We'd like to thank you guys for your time, and we all hope you have a good rest of your day.